Apartheid was a system of separation. In 1948, the South African government made laws to divide people by race. These laws were strict and unfair. They controlled where people could live, work, and even whom they could love. If you were white, you had more rights and chances. If you were black, Indian, or colored, life was much harder. The word apartheid means apartness in Afrikaans. That's exactly what it did. It kept people apart. Signs everywhere told people where to go. Beaches, buses, and benches were marked whites only. Families were torn apart by these rules. The government wanted everyone to stay in their own boxes. Apartheid lasted for almost 50 years. It left deep scars, but it also sparked courage in those who faced it every day. Life under apartheid, a system designed to oppress and segregate, a daily reality steeped in injustice and inequality. Imagine waking up each day knowing that your worth, your opportunities, and your very existence are dictated by the color of your skin. This was the stark reality for millions of black South Africans. It was a life was full of fear and limits. A constant undercurrent of anxiety permeated every aspect of daily existence. The fear of arbitrary arrest, the limitations on movement, the denial of basic human rights, these were the hallmarks of apartheid's oppressive grip. The government enforced strict pass laws. These laws were the cornerstone of control, dictating where black people could live, work, and even travel. These laws forced black people to carry documents, known as passes, at all times, to move around the cities. These passes were more than just identification. They were symbols of oppression, constant reminders of their second-class status. If you were stopped without your pass, or if your pass wasn't in order, you could be arrested, detained, and even deported to designated homelands, regardless of where you had lived your entire life. Every day was a risk, a tightrope walk between freedom and imprisonment, the ever-present threat of police brutality, and the constant fear of being caught without the proper documentation cast a long shadow over daily life. White neighborhoods enjoyed the privileges of wide streets, well-maintained infrastructure, and access to quality education. These areas were symbols of prosperity and opportunity, reserved exclusively for the white minority. They had parks, hospitals, and jobs readily available. These amenities were not just conveniences, they were fundamental rights denied to the majority of the population. But black families were forcibly removed from their homes and forced to live far away, often in areas with little or no economic opportunity. These families were relegated to townships with poor housing, characterized by overcrowding and inadequate living conditions. These townships had little access to clean water or electricity, basic necessities that were readily available in white areas. This disparity highlighted the deliberate and systematic deprivation imposed by the apartheid regime. Mixed marriages were banned, criminalizing love and relationships across racial lines. This law sought to prevent any blurring of racial boundaries and maintain the rigid social hierarchy. Friends could not visit each other if they were of different races, further isolating communities and reinforcing the divisions of apartheid. Simple acts of friendship and human connection were deemed illegal, showcasing the absurdity and cruelty of the system. Even children were separated in schools, denied the opportunity to learn and grow together. Black schools were underfunded and lacked resources, perpetuating a cycle of inequality and limiting future opportunities for black children. The system found ways to divide people at every turn, from separate entrances and public facilities to segregated transportation and entertainment venues. Apartheid permeated every facet of life, creating a society fractured along racial lines. But every rule, every act of oppression, ultimately made people stronger, more determined to resist. The injustices of apartheid fueled a growing movement for change, inspiring acts of defiance and solidarity. Every hardship made the dream of freedom brighter, fueling the struggle for equality and justice. The resilience and unwavering spirit of the black South African people became a beacon of hope, inspiring the world to stand against apartheid. In the shadows of the townships, where poverty and oppression were rampant, hope was growing, nurtured by the unwavering belief in a future free from apartheid. The seeds of resistance were sown in these communities, blossoming into a powerful force for change that would eventually dismantle the system of racial segregation. Apartheid, with its rigid segregation and oppression, seemed an insurmountable force. Yet, the human spirit, with its inherent yearning for freedom and justice, cannot be suppressed indefinitely. Not everyone accepted apartheid. There were those who saw the injustice, the inherent inequality, and the moral bankruptcy of the system. They knew that silence was complicity, and they chose to speak out, to act, and to resist. Brave leaders stood up to fight. These individuals, often at great personal risk, became beacons of hope for the oppressed and symbols of defiance against the oppressor. They understood that true freedom requires courage, sacrifice, and an unwavering commitment to the principles of equality and justice for all. Nelson Mandela was one of them. A lawyer by training, he could have lived a comfortable life within the confines of the system, but his conscience would not allow it. He chose to dedicate his life to the struggle for liberation, becoming an iconic figure in the fight against apartheid. He joined the African National Congress, the ANC, which initially advocated for peaceful resistance, and became a voice for the people, articulating their grievances, their aspirations, and their unwavering determination to achieve equality. He traveled the country, organizing, mobilizing, and inspiring countless individuals to join the movement. Even when he was sent to prison for 27 years, a deliberate attempt to silence him and crush the movement, his spirit never broke. He remained a symbol of hope and resistance, even from behind bars. His unwavering commitment to justice inspired not only his fellow prisoners but also the entire nation and the world. Other leaders joined the struggle, each contributing their unique talents and perspectives to the cause. Desmond Tutu, a church leader, spoke out for peace and justice with wisdom and humor, using his moral authority to challenge the apartheid regime and advocate for reconciliation. He was a powerful voice for nonviolence and a tireless advocate for human rights. Winnie Mandela, Steve Biko, and many others, representing a diverse range of backgrounds and ideologies, risked everything for freedom. They faced imprisonment, torture, and even death, but their commitment to the cause remained unwavering. The resistance was not only about speeches, it was a multifaceted movement that encompassed a wide range of tactics and strategies. It was also about marches, peaceful demonstrations that brought the struggle to the streets, strikes and boycotts, economic actions designed to cripple the apartheid regime and force it to negotiate. People refused to be silent, using their voices to challenge the injustice and demand change. Even when the police came with dogs and guns, resorting to violence and intimidation to suppress the movement grew stronger, fueled by the injustice and the determination to overcome oppression. The world began to watch as the brutality of apartheid was exposed and the struggle for freedom gained international attention. Songs, slogans, and stories, powerful tools of resistance, traveled across borders, inspiring solidarity and support from people around the globe. Apartheid's days were numbered, its foundations crumbling under the weight of internal resistance and international pressure. Because the people would not give up, their unwavering determination ultimately leading to the dismantling of apartheid and the dawn of a new era of freedom and equality in South Africa. Famous leaders lit the way, but ordinary people carried the torch. Mothers hid activists in their homes. Students led protests like the children of Soweto in 1976. Their courage shook the world. Workers went on strike, risking their jobs and safety. Teachers taught secret lessons about freedom. Shopkeepers, nurses, and drivers all found ways to resist, quietly or loudly. Many paid a heavy price. Some lost their homes or loved ones. Others were jailed or beaten by the police, but each act of courage added up. It was the power of many, not just a few. Their stories matter. They remind us that change comes when ordinary people do extraordinary things together. The 1980s were a storm. Protests swept the country, townships burned with anger and hope. The government tried to crush the resistance, but, the voices just grew louder. The world joined in. Countries cut ties with South Africa. Businesses stopped investing. Musicians and athletes refused to play or compete there. Apartheid's walls began to crack under the pressure. Inside South Africa, more groups joined the fight. Churches, unions, and students all stood together. The government declared states of emergency, but the people kept marching. Every day, the cost of apartheid grew higher. Even some white South Africans began to question the system. It was clear that change was coming. The early 1990s brought new hope. President F.W. de Klerk saw that apartheid could not last. He released Nelson Mandela from prison in 1990. The world watched in awe as Mandela walked free. Talks began between the government and the liberation movements. It was not easy. There was violence and fear on all sides. But for the first time, people talked about peace, not war. Mandela and de Klerk won the Nobel Peace Prize. Their courage inspired millions. Step by step, old laws were broken down. For the first time, South Africa dreamed of being a country for all. The dream of freedom was now within reach. A new day was coming. April 1994 was a turning point. For the first time, everyone in South Africa could vote. People waited in long lines, smiling and singing. Old and young, rich and poor, all stood as equals. Nelson Mandela voted for the first time in his life. He became the country's first black president. His victory speech called for forgiveness and unity. "Let us build a new nation together," he said. The world celebrated with South Africa. The country earned a new name, the Rainbow Nation. People danced in the streets. The old flags came down. The new flag flew high. It was a day of tears and joy. A day when hope won. The years after 1994 were full of change. New laws promised equality. Schools, hospitals, and jobs opened to everyone. The Truth and Reconciliation Commission helped people face the past and begin to heal. But freedom brought new struggles. Many South Africans still lived in poverty. Unemployment was high. Some people felt left behind. The scars of apartheid ran deep. The government worked to build houses, create jobs, and unite the people. Progress was real but slow. Corruption and crime were big challenges. Still, South Africans refused to give up. They kept dreaming, working, and hoping. The journey was not easy, but the spirit of freedom lived on. Today, South Africa stands as a vibrant tapestry woven from countless threads of culture, heritage, and experience. It's a nation where the echoes of the past resonate alongside the aspirations of the future. People speak 11 official languages, a testament to the country's rich diversity and the many communities that call it home. Each language carries with it a unique history, a distinct way of seeing the world, and a vital piece of South Africa's identity. The flag, with its bold colors and dynamic design, is more than just a national symbol. It is a symbol of unity, representing the coming together of different groups after years of division. It embodies the hope for a shared future, built on equality, justice, and mutual respect. There is still pain, the lingering scars of a difficult past, but also immense pride in the progress that has been made. The journey towards healing and reconciliation is ongoing, marked by moments of both triumph and setback. Young people dream bigger dreams, unburdened by the limitations of the past. They are the future leaders, innovators, and changemakers who will shape South Africa's destiny. Their optimism and energy are a powerful force for progress. Artists, athletes, and leaders rise from every street, from every corner of the nation. They are the embodiment of resilience, talent, and the unwavering spirit of the South African people. They inspire others to strive for greatness and to believe in the power of their own potential. The country faces problems. Poverty, a persistent challenge that affects too many communities. Inequality, a stark reminder of the work that remains to be done to create a truly just and equitable society. And division, the echoes of a past that continue to resonate in the present. But there is also laughter, a testament to the enduring spirit of the people. Music, a vibrant expression of culture and identity, and the courage to keep moving forward, to overcome obstacles and to build a better future for all. Freedom is not just a moment in history, a date on the calendar to be celebrated once a year. It is a promise that must be kept every day, in every action, and in every decision. It requires constant vigilance, unwavering commitment, and a willingness to challenge injustice wherever it exists. South Africans know that the journey is not over, that the struggle for true equality and justice continues. They remember the heroes, the brave men and women who sacrificed so much to pave the way for a better future, and honor the hope that carried them through the darkest of times, the unwavering belief that a better world was possible. In every challenge there is a chance to rise, to learn, and to grow stronger. In every heart, there is the power to change, to make a difference, and to contribute to a more just and equitable society. The story of South Africa is still being written. Each day, each action, each word adds to the narrative. One of struggle, hope, and the dream of true freedom, a dream that continues to inspire and guide the nation forward.